And that's what he's going to do. Kind of risky for him to jump in these porta potties, these teleport to potties.
There you go. I was about to say, is he going to do it? You say it's risky. I say it's strategy or strategery or strategical, whatever one of the verbs are correct, as he continues rolling forward here, hitting the 126 and immediately following up with the spray, recognizing the fact he does not have a shotgun, but he rectifies that by immediately after getting the elim, picking up the pump from that eliminated player and then turning around and hitting a shot. However, fighting through those windows is incredibly awkward for both parties.
No way.
It's so hard to line up a correct shot, and Clicks with a nice little double ramp edit to get up on the vertical, but the other player is looking to continue pressure using the almost never seen C4 as Clicks has a little extra scope on his screen. We won't worry about that as he continues to just try and get those pots off, knowing that the additional shield should be enough to make the difference because he'll have the heavy sniper to go aggro, but Lifa is not giving him that room right now.
No, and fighting someone like Clicks is just absolutely unfair. You saw how fast he was able to grab the minis, make a play, and still get back up. All that within a matter of just... I think Wolves is going to figure out real soon that Carson is waiting there in the mid game, and it's going to become really, really weird. Oh no, Lowe's is working out the bottom half while Carson is working out the top half. And not once did they cross each other's POVs, and Carson is going to fall to that fall damage as well, so he falls victim. So Woes is chopped down, and he's the guy that comes out on top. The player at the base is the one that's going to win.
And I'm pretty sure Aguilar got an elim off the start, but now Was all of a sudden turns it into just, nope, I get everything. Cleans up the agency, and it's all his. Everyone was all over the place with that, man. We could barely keep track of it. Aguilar got an elim in the sky, then everyone gets dropped down. But looks like he's able to pick up some of it as we hop on board here. Virus picking up Hornet there. Putting some great pressure onto Derpy, who's not fishing instead. Looks like he's being fished right now, trapped in a barrel beneath Spyrock, who's just pouring shots into it to complete the analogy. And honestly, it looks like he's starting to burn a little bit too much material for my liking here. He has the player on the back foot. He needs to be focusing on just pressuring into the box and resolving this fight, because another player is going to come around the corner and start pouring more shots into him and backs him off.
Something to think about. Spyrock's been having a pretty consistent 2 days. He had 100 points scored on the first day, finishing in 129th. Today he's already at 85th. We're coming into that last queue, so relatively stable as far as his consistency goes, his play style goes the last couple days. Here's BNB Cracked, who just came in out of nowhere, and I think that's a mobile player. I saw iOS in the name there. You can see, yeah, it is. He just came in swinging right in from a launchpad play, and suddenly he's thrusted himself into the battle right now. We get to see it from his POV. He's at 67 points. Take a look at the accuracy right there, the quick flick up. He's gonna hit the headshot at long range. Let's see, though. He knows for sure there was something going on. I mean, I'm sure he was able to see the builds as he came crashing in. And right now, Cracked sitting on 67 points today. He had 30 points yesterday, so he needs to keep pushing forward. The line for NA East is currently at 130, so knowing that this is his last game, needs to get elims. 1, 2, 3 will be enough. Will the iOS player be able to push himself into the top 100? He's doing incredibly well here, and he finally figures it out with Preen, the spam fire being enough to overcome the defense. He has to get these points. He needs the 4 points. Placement won't be just enough for him, or it'll end up being too tense and he'll be forced to play either super hectic late game or be forced into a bad situation. So what does he do instead? He's trying to force fights, and it's risky and it's aggressive, and Spyrock makes him pay there with the legendary attack being enough to overcome that spray of the SMG, and Spyrock immediately trading out another 107 shot on the other player. A great shot from Derpy, but not quite enough. The 107 headshot comes through, and he survives with the 3 HP. However, Spud hears it going on, and he says, alright, I'm on my way. Let's see what's happening. Is there somebody low, or is it just a safe rotation? And honestly, it's probably, we talk about the phase where the game gets a little chill. This is going to be it now. Because as the lobbies thinned out, we're inside the top 30, so now everyone's looking for, alright, I want top 20, or any guaranteed elims I can get if somebody's still rotating through, as Spud finds a player with that RPG, gets the rocket going forward, using the AR as his spam weapon to try and break the builds and get in. Brilliant job to weaken the wall first with the AR, follow up with the tac to force the player into either have a wall ready to go, or to spray back The player sprays back in Spud.
Well, here's Spurrock, who has been having quite the game so far. I mean, this lobby thinning itself out will play to its benefit in some way, shape, or form. Just like this, allowing players to get to their prime positionings and maybe take away a victory royale if you can cheekily snatch one up. I mean, every player I feel like we've tuned in with has had a great loadout and has had several eliminations, so this is the kind of scary part of the game if you're trying to take these fights. Look, he doesn't care. He knows there's no one behind him. He did the run himself. He catches him off guard. It was little Uzi who was inside the cone, caught slipping right there. And that's a free Elam for Spurrock. Like I said, it's kind of unfair the speed at which a player like Clix can move. He was able to hit those shots, get in, get out, reset the wall, and still be A-okay. As this player walks into his builds, and it all just works out. Like pieces of a puzzle together right there. Gilly. Definitely. And look, he's looking at the cone right there. He knew the player was in there. He took the ramp. Look at the speed at which he was able to do that. He's already in the lead in this exchange. And he finds Woes with the drum gun. And now he can upgrade once again. He is looking at a big game right now. This might look like a Clix runaway here at the end.
I don't want to say equal skill disparity, but less of a skill gap going on, or you're playing against kind of that 0.001% of individuals in Clix. But now, speaking of Clix, we're hopping on board with Vix, who has prime position for the Brutus minigun, and everyone coming in on that launch pad. He already knocked down one player, trying to eliminate a little more on the high ground, also has a rocket launcher, so he is going to be looking for a siphon to try and top back off the 100-100, and he's hawking this player just on the other side. He finds a 90, 36, 36, 36. Can he find it? Flanks that shot or whiff that shot? Not sure. It looks like it might have gone just over his head, but Crack will end up going down there, as Rogue Shark also picks up Kajoy, who got just inside that top 20, but now you can see Clix, great wall replaced with the shotgun. However, Suscript rips him apart as Clix tried to cover himself from the side, so a little too aggro there as Spud Light picks up Walkman, who was also trying to get a piece of the pie.
That's all that loot gets players hungry for it and desperate. All those players jumped in just to get a piece of the pie, like you said. It wasn't going to be enough, but Clix still phenomenal game. 8 eliminations still coming in, capping himself off with something serious. Here's Spurrock, who's going to find a nice headshot, body shot. He just needs one more. The shotgun's going to connect. He's not going to leave it up to the likes of the AR. Instead, going to go with that instant hit scan and the shotgun. Now, let's take a look here. He's got control of the field. Looks like it's his high ground. There's only a couple more players that can potentially challenge him for it. It's the guys that are across the field. It's just going to be a matter of where is the zone going to pull. Lucky for him, he does have a launch pad here. And this lobby is a little light. This emulates more along the lines of what arena game would be with pro players. So it's going to look like a good old zone war in a couple seconds here now, as they all have to cut across.
I was about to say, this definitely looking like an NA East arena game. You have a couple of pockets where people have built up, and it makes it, if anything, a little more difficult and gives more priority to the high zone or the high ground players on either side, because those low ground players do have to invest so much more. There's less natural cover and less natural bases that have already been built out. You have to create the space for yourself. As we see, Suscript, Camp, Vix, all on that low ground. Zone is revealed. The number of players opting to take to the sky are ready to go to far side. You can see them hawking out other potential low pads to go over to. Suscript will get his feet on the ground first on the far side. TJ picks out Jamper, and we have our top 15, as he's now just going to box up, hang out for a little bit, see who kind of pops up, let other people get eliminated. Remember, when we get into that top 10, you'll end up getting an additional placement point for every player who falls down. That will then also climb up higher. But Suscript, heavy snipe, wall replace, pump shot, put it on a show. Perplexity goes down,
Wow.
and he walks into just an all gold box.
Gets the good loot right there. It's the mythic loadout. Let's see what Suscript's gonna do. He now has the grapple. He can contest for height. He also has the material. Let's not count him out. He used 2 launch pads to cut across the field. He's got 4 launch pads in the inventory. Yeah, might as well burn him at this point. No need to waste the extra mats if you don't have to. If he wants to now, he can crank up and actually contest height. That's what he's going to do here. The one player that is on height is just single tarping across, and that's it. It's going to break him down, and now Suscript owns the height here. Oh no, he flubs the one build, and suddenly it's not his anymore. He goes for another launch pad. This is quite interesting here now, as he's just cutting across. He might just look to do it again. probably crank up. Let's see.
Some interesting decisions in place going on here. He's giving us a great tutorial on how to do the low launch pads that we talked about earlier, as now we have our top 10. Vix picked it up and then immediately went down to COD Genesis, as Suscript is now kind of stuck on the lower ground, but Rogue Shark is the shark in the lobby up on the high ground, and he sees blood in the waters as TJ picks up camp right before the storm ticks him over. 30 HP now at this point as Spyrock picks out Bryce, and we get closer in towards the top 5. Doesn't actually have time to finish off that medkit. That is a huge flub, but the shotgun shot and the siphon will give him all of the floppers, and he technically will have enough time if he's able to get the medkit to pop it. But that being said, will be able to roll himself back over. Not going to opt to grab it and rotate back to the zone, so he's playing with a very limited health pool, but has plenty of mats and is probably just going to look to ride it out from here. It is still the 8th zone, so we'll have one more move, and this is huge. Do we go over old builds, or do we go out into space? This will largely define who wins the game, and it looks like it's mostly back towards old builds, Monster.
Yep, that is true. Shark's gonna fall to Vexy here, and Mr. Launchpad himself is still going, padding around, by the way. So Suscript is still in the game, and now he has height once again due to the grappler. The grappler is so strong in the solo competition, it's only right that we gonna close out this way as well. Can Suscript actually find the last shots, though? This player is gonna jump on the pad, but don't worry, Suscript wrote the pad plays himself. No, Shark was still alive. Kind of called that one wrong. I thought for a second he was taken out in the feed. But he is actually still in the running here. Shark's going to eat an RPG right there. I saw the hit markers come out. And now Suscript looks to close out, and he is. He's going to close out. He's going to hit the rocket. That's it. That's going to conclude the NA.
Is that #1 player in day number 2. It is none other than Liquid, stretched with 27 eliminations, 2 victory royales, and the 239 points, Monster.